Chapter 632, Devil Moon and Ice Phoenix. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Because of the ice-cold air of Orange Star Emissary, large snowflakes began falling from the sky. Jiang Yuochen raised his head and looked up. He faintly saw a black devil moon suspended above Orange Star Emissary. The icy air between heaven and earth was emanating from the devil moon. As the devil moon is in the sky, the area within a radius of 5 kilometers will be frozen. The Orange Star Emissary's innate lunar body is comparable to the saintly being, so the devil moon she released is strong enough to fight with the Dharma Laksana. Jiang Yuochen told himself. Orange Star Emissary had secluded herself for refining in the scroll world of the yin-yang wooden graph for many years, and then she followed Blackie for experience in battlefield of primitive world, so her cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds. She had not only broken through to the fifth change in the fish-dragon realm, but she had also improved her physical quality. Jiang Yuochen could see that Orange Star Emissary had not yet succeeded in the practice of extreme yin body. Otherwise, the icy air she released would not just freeze an area within a radius of 5 kilometers but 50 kilometers. The extreme yin body, as a superlative physical quality, was only weaker than the 5 elements chaotic body. To some extent, the reason why Orange Star Emissary worshipped Blackie as her teacher was that she wanted to practice and master extreme yin body with Blackie's guidance. Orange Star Emissary is willing to take Blackie as her master? Mulinxi rolled her eyes, filled with disbelief. In her mind, Blackie had always been unreliable. Orange Star Emissary was at least an emissary, half a high-level figure of the black market. To be so willing to follow him, she must have been bamboozled by Blackie. Jiang Yuochen touched his chin and said, although her cultivation has improved a lot, she is still at the 5th change in the fish-dragon realm. She can't defeat the Blood Crow King. Let's fight together. Swish. Mulinxi nodded and released the Dharma Laksana of Mysterious Ice Phoenix. A great illusory image of the Ice Phoenix emerged, emitting a loud cry. The Ice Phoenix's illusory image and the Black Devil Moon occupied opposite sides, competing with, yet also complementing each other. PFFT. Suddenly, the area became chillier. The two Dharma Laksanas impacted each other, forming an adverse current that converted to cold wind, making the snowflakes dance in the air. It was obvious that the Dharma Laksana of the illusory image of Ice Phoenix was stronger than that of the Black Devil Moon. It restricted the power and aura of the moon to one side. Orange Star Emissary was very surprised. Obviously, she hadn't thought that there was such a powerful figure with Jiang Yuochen. The refining warrior and Jiang Yuochen stood at 2 other locations opposite each other, trapping the Blood Crow King in the center. The Blood Crow King was unafraid. He burst into laughter. Good, very good. Your physical qualities are very strong. If I can suck your blood, I will surely break through to the half-saint realm. Swish. Jiang Yuochen immediately used space moving and appeared above the Blood Crow King. He threw out the yin-yang wooden graph to suppress him. The graph suddenly projected powerful beams of light that enfolded the Blood Crow King. The Blood Crow King's face changed. Every beam of light from the graph added 5 tons of weight on his shoulders. In just a moment, the power of the lights had pressed his 2 legs into the earth. What is it? As the Blood Crow King stretched out his arms, the spiritual blood floating around him started boiling up and rushing upward. The yin-yang wooden graph was badly shaken up as if it was about to fly away. Jiang Yuochen threw his palms downward and formed light columns to control the yin-yang wooden graph. Meanwhile, he glared at Blackie and said, "Don't just stand there. Help me to suppress him." Without any hesitation, Blackie breathed out a light column that surged towards the yin-yang wooden graph, stabilizing it. The light emitted by the graph became even brighter. Actually, Jiang Yuochen could also try to open the door of space into the yin-yang wooden graph in order to subdue Blood Crow King into the scroll world. However, with the Blood Crow King's tough cultivation and high speed, it wasn't like he would just stand there and wait for Jiang Yuochen to catch him. The chances of catching him were less than 10%, but if the Blood Crow King succeeded in escaping, it would be much harder to suppress him again. Given his cultivation, everyone here would not be able to defeat him. Therefore, Jiang Yuochen used the yin-yang wooden graph, which had the power to suppress evil things. to fight with Blood Crow King. Right now, Mu Lynx Eye and Orange Star Emissary grabbed the opportunity to launch simultaneous attacks against the Blood Crow King from two different directions. Swoosh! Orange Star Emissary shook her arms, and the dragon lock chain that was wrapped around her wrist suddenly flew out and transformed into a big iron chain as thick as a bowl. It twisted around the Blood Crow King's neck. The iron chain was filled with inscriptions and released the destructive power of the thunderbolt. The Blood Crow King snorted, stretched out his bloody claws to catch the dragon lock chain and then jerked it back quickly. Even if he was suppressed by the yin-yang wooden graph, his power was enough to defeat Orange Star Emissary. Orange Star Emissary only felt a powerful force coming from the dragon lock chain, and she suddenly lost balance and flew toward the Blood Crow King. As he raised the other claw, spiritual blood poured out from it and condensed into a 10-meter-high claw print, flapping toward her head. Just as Orange Star Emissary was about to be killed by Blood Crow King, Mu Lynx Eye unleashed the Saint power in the Holy Sword. With a swoosh from another direction, she wielded the sword and chopped at the Blood Crow King's arm, deflecting it. Even though it was a holy sword, it only left a 1-inch deep cut on the Blood Crow King's arm. It barely did him damage. However, this strike resolved Orange Star Emissary's crisis. The Blood Crow King glanced at his arm and saw blood gushing out of the wound. He suddenly roared angrily and threw his arms to attack Mu Lynx Eye. The refining warrior then rushed up and threw punches, colliding with the Blood Crow King's palms. Boom! A circle of powerful energy ripples erupted from the junction of their fists and palms. The powerful strength shook Mu Lynx Eye and Orange Star Emissary, causing them to stumble backward a few steps. Suppressed by the yin-yang wooden graph, how could the Blood Crow King rival the refining warrior? At this moment, a lot of small blood cracks appeared on his arms, and even his bones started creaking. His two arms seemed to be broken. Taking this opportunity, Mu Lynx Eye displayed a bodily movement and rushed behind the Blood Crow King. She stimulated the power of the Holy Sword to the extreme and stabbed at the sacred meridian on the Blood Crow King's back. Boom! Just as the Holy Sword penetrated into the sacred meridian, a tough power emerged from the Blood Crow King's back that shook her backward. Although Mu Lynx Eye sustained serious injuries, she was able to break the Blood Crow King's exercises. Bang bang! The refining warrior punched the Blood Crow King 9 times. Each punch left a huge hole in the Blood Crow King's body, splashing blood everywhere. After the last punch, the Blood Raven King's body was suddenly torn apart, and even his bones broke down. With their joint effort, they had finally killed the Blood Crow King. Mu Lynx Eye took a healing pill and stared at the broken bodies on the ground. She asked with lingering fear, "Is he really dead?" Jiang Yuochen took the yin-yang wooden graph back and dropped to the ground. He picked up a red stave with blood on it and looked at the Blood Crow King's body, saying, "The immortal vampires are not as powerful as Di Yi's heartless saint being. We can kill them by cutting off their heads or digging out their hearts. The refining warrior has already crushed his body, so he is completely dead now, even if he is an immortal vampire." After hearing this, everyone was finally relieved. The red stave was the Blood Crow King's psychic staff. No one knew what it was made of, but it must not be an ordinary thing. Since it was a treasure, it must not be wasted. Therefore, Jiang Yuochen put it away. Hearing Jiang Ruken mention Di Yi, Orange Star Emissary's face changed. She asked, "Have you just fought with Di Yi?" Jiang Yuochen turned around and stared at Orange Star Emissary. He paused briefly and then asked, "If I tell you that Di Yi has been suppressed by me, will you rebel against me for him?" Mu Lynx Eye smiled, and the holy sword in her hand emitted eye-dazzling sword radiance again. Mu Lynx Eye did not know why Orange Star Emissary had yielded to Jiang Yuochen and why Blackie had accepted her as a disciple. However, if Orange Star Emissary dared to save Di Yi, she would not mind killing Orange Star Emissary now. Seeing Jiang Yuochen's cold eyes, Orange Star Emissary looked around at Mu Lynx Eye and Blackie. Finally, she refrained from making a move. The girl beside Jiang Yuochen was an unfathomable master, whose strength would be beyond hers. Not to mention that there was a refining warrior. If she rebelled against Jiang Yuochen with her current strength, she would definitely die. From the very beginning, Jiang Yuochen knew that Orange Star Emissary had not sincerely surrendered to him. Since she hadn't rebelled, he had temporarily let her go for Blackie's sake. Zhang Yuochen said, "Blackie, manage your disciples strictly. If you can't do that, I can help you." Blackie said, "Zhang Yuochen, why are you so cruel to a woman? Don't you know what tenderness toward women is? What's more, Yue never said that she would save Di Yi. She just asked casually." "That's best." Zhang Yuochen gently shook his head and said nothing. He searched for a long while and finally found the damaged holy soft leather armor. Previously, Zhang Yuochen had beheaded Di Yi and Di Yi's body started burning. Although he recondensed into a body, the holy soft leather armor was left on the ground. The holy soft leather armor was a rare defensive treasure. If he spent enough materials, he could restore it. When he picked up the armor, Zhang Yuochen discovered a heavy, hard object inside. "What is this?" Zhang Yuochen reached through the crack in the armor and took out a cold crystal. Swoosh! A dazzling light radiated from the surface of the crystal. Dense holy chi surged out. To his surprise, the crystal was a holy source.